Welcome back to another episode of Undiagnosed Baddie. What is it, y'all? Y'all favorite daily 10-minute podcast now. This is a hefty little topic right here. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. This young lady says, I don't see how bitches be having kids, but also say they've never been courted or been on a real date before. Bitch, what the fuck? How he get you to that point? And I just want to say, ha ha ha. Okay, let's get into it. You know, I was on Twitter back in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 14 through the trenches of Twitter when all the inappropriate jokes could fly, would fly, did fly. But I say that to say, you know, I've been on there, seen plenty of stories, specifically someone that is local to the area. And I remember them vividly telling a story about how they have two children and have never been on a date and was never on a date until after they had their second child. And that's just not something that I understood. And so when I asked for clarity, I'm like, well, what do you mean you've never been on a date? But you've had sex with people, but you've given two different men, babies. And so she said it like I was dumb, like I was 5, and she was like, just like I said, I've never been on a date. And I said, let's reel that back in, right? Let's pull that back in because it's not my fault you've never been on a date. What we have to understand that there are different, although it may look the same in the same neighborhood. They're not from my neighborhood, but what I'm going to say, we have a whole bunch of houses. You never know what's going on in somebody's house. You might have a house where there's generations of women living in these houses, and they've not one woman in that house has been married. Not one woman in that house has had a long-term relationship, been a fiance, all of the things, right? And so you can have a house a couple doors down where they have had that, and there are marriages in that family with an S. And just because you're in the same neighborhood doesn't mean that everybody has the same story. And what I have to say to that is the ones that grew up in families like I did, where we grew up privileged, and we got to see people love on each other, and we got to see 50 plus year marriages. And I'm not saying that all 50 plus year marriages didn't come with some bullshit. I'm not saying that at all. However, it was taught to us by the men and women, I'll say women and specifically men in our families, that this is the way you're supposed to be treated. How do we know? How do you know how to get treated? And that is because we're going to take our daughters on dates. We're going to take our granddaughters to the stores. We're going to buy our nieces their first pieces of jewelry. We're going to show y'all what it's like to be taken care of, because that's how we get down over here. And so I say all of that to say, one, to brag on my family a lot of it, and two, to say some of you bitches just don't deserve it. Wasn't ever gonna be y'all or your bloodline, and that fucking sucks. And when you don't have people to look up to in your family, you become a part of a circle, a cycle of life where you're not going to understand that. And so thus you will be nasty and mean to someone like me on the internet who doesn't understand how you never put your foot down. There's one thing, I'm one person, I don't have to learn the lesson myself. I can listen to you and determine if it's some bullshit or not, or if it's something that I really need to listen to and learn from that. Okay, you weren't courted the first time. You've never been taken out on a date on the first time. Where were your standards for yourself for that second man before you had that second fucking baby? Where was the love for yourself? Where was it? Where was the education, knowledge, the pass down, the stories? Where were the views? What was going on to where you didn't see that? You see other people getting taken care of. You see other people going on dates, and nothing in your motherfucking head clicked and said, Let me make sure I get that. Why is that? Why do you think that? Why do you think that men, and when you put that out there, men know how they could treat you? And that's why I always said we're going to take a little turn. Welcome to Undiagnosed Baddie. The same way that Cardi allowed Offset to continuously cheat. The same way that Ari Fletcher continuously lets Moneybagg Yo cheat on her. You set a standard for yourself in the public to say, oh, she will take X, Y, and Z. So whenever she's done with him, I want a chance because I too know the bar is in hell. You cannot be the person that openly, okay, tells everybody, all the men, that the bar is in hell, because baby, they're not even gonna give you hell. They're gonna take you to the pits of hell. Thus, people having multiple babies without ever being courted, dated, given money, given experiences, taken on trips. Where are your gifts? Not even a flower picked out the yard, right? So it's like, y'all are telling on yourselves, you're telling on your bloodline, and is quite frankly embarrassing. Is it not? Would you not be embarrassed? And it's like, there is a point where people be like, oh, you think you're better than, and I am. And there are times where you have to say, you know, this internet shit is a little bit too close because my standards are here. Why am I even talking to somebody here? If we were not on the same platform, we wouldn't be talking, baby. We are not even the same. We are not even in the same Venn diagram of people. My people over here, your people over here, our people. We're not even in the same Venn diagram. Okay, we're not even in the same world. We're not even on, we're not in the same motherfucking dimension, because the dimension that I am in, the women around me get taken care of. The women around me are loved. The women around me, if they're in a fucked up situation, they're choosing to stay in a fucked up situation. But what I will say is that they still getting something out of that motherfucking situation. And to be 1, 2, 3, 4 kids in and never be taken on a date, to be 2 kids in. Cause bitch, why didn't you learn the first time? Why didn't you shake shit up? Why didn't you put your foot down and want more for yourself? Because you don't fucking love yourself. That's really what it fucking boils down to. You not loving yourself. And that's something that I could never understand. It's a topic. People talking about it. People have questions as well. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing that I could think of. You didn't love yourself. Your mother didn't love you. Your grandmother didn't love you. If you got aunts, they didn't love you because nobody told you, bitch, keep your fucking legs closed till you fucking get something. It's patriarchy, baby. Can't call it whoring, can't call it prostituting. This is patriarchy, baby. Because men always said, here, you can have all of this, so I can get a piece of that. Since the beginning of time. Since the beginning of fucking time. So what are we even really talking about? We're talking about the patriarchal society that we live in. Why are you giving? And not only are you giving, you're giving life. You're bringing forth life to niggas that didn't even fuck with you. That doesn't seem crazy to you? That doesn't seem crazy to have a friend and be the person that's the friend of someone like that? That doesn't seem crazy to you? That doesn't seem crazy to have a friend who doesn't love themselves enough to even be taken out on a date? Not even a hiking date, not even a coffee date, not a walking date. But it's so crazy how these same people have the gall to get on the internet and talk a lot of shit. You know, it's just crazy. It's people that would love to be in your shoes, that love to talk the most shit. A lot of subliminals here. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Anyway, ladies, if you've ever been if you've ever given a man some babies and you never been taken out on a date, put it in the comments. Let me know. Did you revert from being a dummy bitch? Because that's all the fuck this is. Dummy Bitch Chronicles. Yeah, let me know what's up. Because at the end of the day, that would never be me. That's never going to be mine. That's not about my bloodline. We don't move like that in this bloodline. Don't let it be your nieces. Don't let it be your god kids. Don't let it be anybody around you. If it's one of your friends right now, slap them, wake them up, send them this episode and tell them to get their motherfucking security and wait up, because that's not how we moving in 2026 and moving forward. Gas is $6 a fucking gallon. You hear me? Patriarchal society did this. Listen. Love yourself. Love yourself. That's all I got.